In this video, I'm going to show how to make a keyway slot along with this kind of arc shape at the end of the slot for a key system. Okay, so we're going to start out by just coming over here to our CAD operations and do 3D CAD and do new 2D sketch. And then we're going to make a circle and just click on the origin here and go out. And I'm going to set a radius of 3/8, which will give us a 3/4 inch shaft diameter. Okay, and then I'm going to do create a rectangle, 2 corners rectangle, and I'll just kind of make a little box like that. We'll type in some exact dimensions. We'll do negative 75 thousandths in X, and then positive 75 thousandths in X for the other dimension. So that'll give us 150 thousandths width here in our keyway slot. And then, so this Y just determines kind of the top of the rectangle, which is not significant. The bottom here is what is significant. So we're going to do, so this would be 375 at the very top. So let's just go ahead and go down pretty deep. Let's do like quarter. So that would give us an 1/8 of an inch from the top here to the bottom, or a 1/4 of an inch from the center to the bottom of our keyway. Okay, so let's just look at one way that we can simply extrude this. This is not what we're going to end up with. I'm just going to show real quick. We can just basically trim around there. Then we have the entire profile of our keyway. And then we can come over here to 3D CAD and just extrude. Basic, right? The problem with this is we don't have the part of the shaft afterwards. It doesn't have a keyway, so this is not going to work for what we're doing, but for some applications that may be sufficient. So we're going to go ahead and just delete the extrude, and we'll also delete the trim, so we're back to where we were here. And now we'll just extrude just the circle alone, and let's go ahead and make that -2 inches. Oops, -2 inches, okay? And then we'll extrude again. Oops, hang on one second here. We'll extrude again just the rectangle part of it. And rather than saying new, we're going to say subtract. Okay, and our depth of 1 inch is fine. That's going to be half of the length of our cylinder here. Okay, so that's looking good. So now comes the slightly more complicated part. And that's this arc right here. And this is really true 3D. It's not prismatic 3D like this. This is true 3D. So the way we're going to do that is we are going to insert a primitive. It's going to be a cylinder. And we're going to shrink this down. The height of the cylinder is going to be 0.15. We pick 1.5 because that's the width of our rectangle. So that's the width of our key slot here, basically. Okay, and leave a diameter of 1 inch, and then we're going to have to transform this around a little bit. So we're going to click on transform here. We'll add first a rotation followed by an offset. So the rotation is going to be around the y-axis, right? It's going to be around this axis. We want to rotate 90 degrees that way. So we drop this down to rotate 90 degrees around y. Okay, and now we're going to want to center that with the keyway, so we're going to move it by half of our width of the keyway. Okay, so now we're centered that way. And this dimension is easy. In the z-axis, we're going to move -1 because that's the depth of our keyway here. And then it's a little bit harder to get the y dimension, right? Because we have to do a little bit of math. But it's not that hard. So the cylinder, the diameter is 1, so that gives us a radius of 0.5. So let's just make our y dimension 0.5 just so we can see what it does. And now if I turn off our extrude here, that's going to basically put the bottom of this cylinder on our axis, on the coordinate axis system. So that's not what we want. Of course, we want to raise it up a little bit more. So we'll go ahead and raise it up by the 1/2 inch plus the dimension to go from the center of the cylinder to the bottom of the keyway, which we know is a 1/4 of an inch. So we can just say plus 0.25, and that should give us the bottom of the cylinder is exactly tangent with the bottom of the keyway here. Okay, Now it's just a matter of subtracting these two. So we just go to Boolean, And we are going to drop this down and pick our two solids. Just first pick our main cylinder and then the second cylinder here. And we don't want to do the intersection of the two, we want to do the difference of the first minus the second. Okay? And there we go. That's pretty much it. And let's change that color. Something like that. Okay, hope that helps. Thanks.